Friends and listeners and everyone else out there. Hi, hope you're doing good and hope you're having a great time. Today in the series What Employers Want, we are into the third podcast and I have with me here Snneha Mahajan, talent hunter at Flipkart. She will talk about the things that she thinks a candidate must know before he or she appears for the interview. So, quickly moving on to Snneha Mahajan. Hi Snneha, how are you doing today?
Hey, hi, Crisenta. Thanks. I'm doing great.
So glad that you're here. A hearty welcome and thank you so much for giving your time.
Pleasure.
So Sneha, let's begin right away because a lot of candidates out there are waiting to listen to you. Tell me, what are the few things that you think you should convey to candidates in order to, to tell them what are the things that you expect from them when they appear for interviews or, as prospective employees?
Okay, so as an employer, I would love to have candidates who are dynamic and who have that go-getter attitude. So that's something that would really, tick the bar or, set the stage for me. That's one thing. And the basics or the hygiene factors, the CV has to be crisp and, ideally a two-pager CV is something that would work for me personally as a recruiter. Because it's very cumbersome to go through a very long CV, and
Yes.
frankly speaking, a recruiter will not read each and every line that's mentioned on the CV.
True.
So the shorter the CV, the better it is, or the happier the recruiter would be to go through it. So to start off with, the CV is the key because even though the recruiter would search your profile on any job portal, the CV is the first profile that would introduce you to the recruiter. And hence, you have to nail it perfectly.
Absolutely. Is there any other area you would like to throw light on?
Yeah, candidates need to be very honest because there are a lot of times that, few candidates exaggerate their experience. But in the end, when it comes down to the interview level, there are a lot of ways that we as recruiters or even the interview panel can, easily catch if the candidate is lying or, is over exaggerating as such.
True.
So be very honest about what you have done and be very confident about what you have done. See, ideally speaking, there is nothing as a candidate is rejected. It's just that at that point of time, that person is not suitable for that particular role.
Yeah.
It's always possible that the same person would be hired in the next, few months down the line for the same role or for some other role in the same organization.
True.
So it's just about, trying to understand. And a quick tip would be try to understand what the role is about, what the organization is doing, where is it headed to, and try to find what are the common points between you and the organization. For example, if you are working if you are young and if you are a go-getter and if the organization also has a similar passion or similar objectives, that's something which you should highlight. Apart from that, try to stand out from the crowd. Tell the recruiter or the organization what is it exactly that you would bring into the table in terms of, what is the value add that you would do. And give examples as if you are hired, what difference would you make?
True, yes. Like you said, CV is the most important. It is very critical. Yeah. And it is important that you don't lie because at the end of the day, your reputation is also at play here, right?
Right.
Today as a recruiter, if you identify someone who has not been very truthful about things that he's mentioned, the word spreads and it becomes a little critical for him to find jobs henceforth.
Exactly.
So candidates definitely need to be aware of that. Also in terms of CV, Snneha, if you're saying a CV should not be too long because it gets, really tiresome and really cumbersome. So if it has to be, limited to 2 pages at the most, what are the things, A, you would like to see included in it? B, what are the aspects in the CV that you wouldn't mind if it is present or not? Okay. And C, what are the things that you would really not want to see included in a CV?
So starting with what are the things that I would like to, see included in the CV, a better or, a thoughtful approach about presenting your work experience. So rather than what you're doing, if a candidate has a STAR approach, that is, give a task that you were assigned, mention the action that you taken and mention the result that you got. It would really help the recruiter in knowing what is the kind of talent that this person carries.
Exactly.
And at the start of the CV, if the candidate gives a brief about what are the areas that that he has handled. So that's something that, I would like to see him include in his CV.
Yes.
Some things which won't make a difference if they are present or not is, I believe, writing your strengths and weaknesses and your hobbies and so certain extracurricular activities and all of that.
True. And also the third point, or what is it that you would never want to see in a CV, ideally?
I guess I won't want to see any references given in the CV because usually you have briefed the person and no one will speak bad about you.
Yeah,
So references is something, which really doesn't work in the real sense.
True. So then it's not something you can bank on. So
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
necessary. All right. So Sneha, if you had this option to receive an audio profile of a candidate along with a CV, so you get the CV in hard copy, but you also get a 2 or 3 minute audio wherein the candidate talks about himself, his strengths, his expectations, or whatever it is. So what are the few things that you would want to hear in that profile of his?
Right. He has to give me information which is outside the CV. So it should not be a repetition. So he can mention his personality traits and, some unique qualities about himself and why should we hire him as a candidate. That's something that I would love to hear from him in that small audio CV. So apart from that, some certain achievements that he has done, which is like, bang on, that's the reason that, I should get a chance to get interviewed by you. Some situations or some achievements wherein he has made a difference in his past and previous organization.
Absolutely. And also, if you were to receive an audio profile along with a CV, the hassle of having to probably try and talk to him, calling him multiple times so that you can screen him on the phone for his communication skills or whatever, that is also reduced, right?
Yeah. So that would help me. So, some very practical details that, I have notice period of so and so days. So outrightly, I know that I can hire this person flat in a month or in 2 months. And I know, I don't have to spend that extra time of calling him and getting those details.
All right. So Sneha, that was brilliant talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. You have given some great insight for so many candidates out there, especially for all of them who think that a CV is not so important, who try and spend so much time rather on getting referrals, thinking those reference letters are going to help. I think your interview today is an outright eye-opener to all of them, and thank you so much for your time and for being with us today. It was great talking to you, Sneha.
Same here. I enjoyed it.
And I hope we'll have these interactions more often. For now, I'll sign out. Sure. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, friends and listeners, so this was Snneha Mahajan for you. And if you want to listen to more employers and recruiters talk to you, you stay tuned to the space. Signing out on this podcast today is your friend and recruit jockey. Goodbye.